you explain yourself, the less people respect you. Think about it. Every time someone misunderstood you, you rushed to explain. Every time someone judged you, you tried to prove your worth. But what if I told you, every unnecessary explanation makes you look weaker? The Stoics understood one truth that most people never learn. Powerful people don't explain. They let reality do it for them. The more you explain yourself, the less people respect you. Think about it. Every time someone misunderstood you, you rushed to explain. Every time someone judged you, you tried to prove your worth. But what if I told you, every unnecessary explanation makes you look weaker? The Stoics understood one truth that most people never learn. Powerful people don't explain. They let reality do it for them. If you've ever felt exhausted trying to make people understand you, this video might change the way you see yourself forever. Because today you'll discover why silence isn't weakness. It's power. Most people believe communication solves everything. But that's only half the truth. Some people don't misunderstand you because they lack information. They misunderstand you because they've already decided who you are. And once someone has made up their mind, no amount of explaining can change it. Yet we still try. We write long messages. We defend ourselves. We replay conversations in our heads. We desperately search for the perfect words. Not because we need to, but because we fear rejection. We fear being judged. We fear losing people's approval. And without realizing it, we slowly hand over control of our peace to people who never deserved it. The Stoics warned us about this thousands of years ago, not because they hated people, but because they understood human nature. They knew that trying to control another person's opinion is one of the fastest ways to lose control of your own life. The moment your happiness depends on someone else's understanding, you've already surrendered your freedom. So today, let's break that habit forever. Lesson 1. Stop seeking approval. Every unnecessary explanation begins with one hidden desire: approval. You want people to think you're a good person. You want them to believe your intentions were pure. You want them to see your side of the story. At first, that sounds reasonable, but here's the uncomfortable truth. The need for approval never ends. You explain one decision. Tomorrow you'll explain another. Soon, your entire life becomes a performance designed to satisfy everyone except yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, every single day that people would criticize him no matter what he did. Some would misunderstand him. Some would hate him. Some would envy him. Yet he ruled one of the greatest empires in history without wasting his life, trying to convince every critic. Imagine carrying the responsibility of an empire and still refusing to chase validation. Now compare that with how easily a single negative comment can ruin someone's day to day. That's the difference. Strong people don't build their identity on public opinion. They build it on personal values. Ask yourself something. If nobody approved of your decision, would it still be the right decision? If the answer is yes, then why explain it? Your values should become your evidence, not your words. Think about a lion. Have you ever seen a lion trying to convince the jungle that it's powerful? No. Its presence speaks louder than any explanation ever could. Human beings are different. We constantly announce our strength. We defend our confidence. We explain our choices. Ironically, the more we do it, the less convincing we become. Real confidence doesn't need witnesses. It doesn't need applause. It simply exists. The Stoics believed character should be visible through action, not advertising, not arguments, not endless explanations. When your life reflects your principles, silence becomes your loudest statement. Lesson 2. Let people misunderstand you. This might be the hardest lesson of all. Accept that some people will never understand you, not because you're wrong, but because they only see life through their own experiences. Imagine trying to explain the ocean to someone who's never left the desert. No matter how beautiful your words are, they can only understand what they've experienced. People do the same thing with you. They judge your choices using their own fears. They measure your dreams with their own limitations. And then they call you unrealistic, or selfish, or arrogant. The mistake isn't that they judged you. The mistake is believing you must change their opinion. Here's a powerful realization. Being misunderstood is not a failure. It's often the price of becoming different. Every successful person has faced misunderstanding. Every leader has been criticized. Every philosopher has been questioned. Even the Stoics themselves were mocked by people who couldn't understand their way of thinking. Yet history remembers the Stoics, not the people who criticized them. Remember that. History rarely remembers the loudest critics. It remembers the people who stayed committed to their purpose. So the next time someone misunderstands you, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. Do I really need this person to understand me? Or do I simply need to understand myself? The answer to that question might free you forever. Lesson 3. Silence is your greatest power. Most people think silence means you have nothing to say. The Stoics believe the exact opposite. Silence often means you have nothing to prove. Look at how people react during an argument. One person keeps talking. They defend themselves. They repeat the same point over and over. They become louder with every sentence. The other person stays calm. They listen. They speak only when necessary. Who looks stronger? Almost always the quiet one. Because silence creates mystery. Silence creates confidence. Silence tells people, I don't need your permission to believe in myself. Unfortunately, our generation has become addicted to explaining everything. We explain why we left a job, why we started a business, why we ended a relationship, why we changed our goals, why we didn't reply, why we chose ourselves. But every explanation sends a hidden message. I'm afraid you won't approve. And fear is something people can feel, even when you never say the word. The Stoics trained themselves to become emotionally independent. They understood something most people never realize. Every time you react emotionally to criticism, you're allowing someone else to control your inner world. Real freedom begins the moment you stop giving strangers access to your peace. The next time someone questions your decision, try something different. Smile. Say nothing. Then continue living your life. Sometimes, silence answers questions better than words ever can. Lesson 4. Your actions are the only explanation you need. There's an old idea that has survived for thousands of years. Don't explain, demonstrate. Imagine two people. The first constantly says, I'm disciplined. I'm focused. I'm different. The second never says any of those things. They simply wake up every morning, do the work, improve themselves, and keep moving. After 1 year, who will earn more respect? The answer is obvious. Words create expectations. Actions create belief. This is exactly why Stoicism focuses so heavily on character. Character isn't something you describe. It's something people discover. Marcus Aurelius never woke up thinking, how can I make everyone admire me today? Instead, he asked himself, how can I become a better man today? That's a completely different mindset. One seeks attention, the other seeks growth. And here's the strange thing. When you stop chasing attention, people naturally begin to notice you. Because authenticity is rare. Most people are busy creating an image. Very few are building a character. So stop trying to win arguments. Win your life instead. Let your discipline become your explanation. Let your consistency become your response. Let your success answer questions you never needed to answer yourself. Because results are impossible to debate. Lesson 5. Not everyone deserves an explanation. This lesson can completely change your relationships. Many people believe being honest means explaining everything. It doesn't. Being honest means not lying. It doesn't mean giving unlimited access to your private thoughts. There is a difference. Some people ask questions because they genuinely care. Others ask questions because they want control. Some people ask why you changed, not because they want to understand you, but because they want you to stay the same. Think about that. Growth often makes people uncomfortable, especially those who benefited from the old version of you. When you become more confident, someone calls you arrogant. When you set boundaries, someone says you've changed. When you stop pleasing everyone, someone accuses you of being selfish. Nothing actually changed, except one thing. You stopped making your life convenient for other people, and suddenly, they want explanations. The Stoics would remind you of something simple. You are responsible for your actions, not for everyone's interpretation of them. That realization removes an enormous weight from your shoulders. You don't have to convince everyone. You don't have to defend every choice. You don't have to justify becoming the person you were always meant to become. Sometimes, the healthiest sentence you'll never say is the explanation you decided to keep to yourself. Take a moment and ask yourself honestly, how much energy have you wasted trying to make people understand you? Hours? Months? Maybe even years? Now imagine using all that energy to improve yourself instead. That's exactly what the Stoics chose, and that's why their wisdom is still changing lives. 2,000 years later. Lesson 6. The more you explain, the less people respect you. Have you ever noticed something strange? The people who constantly explain themselves are usually the ones who receive the least respect, not because they're wrong, but because they're trying too hard to be understood. When you keep defending every decision, you unintentionally tell people that their opinion has authority over your life. Think about a judge in a courtroom. Does the judge argue with everyone? No. The judge listens, makes a decision, and moves on. Authority rarely argues. It decides. Now think about your own life. How many times have you written a long message explaining why you couldn't meet someone, why you changed your plans, why you didn't answer a call, or why you made a certain decision? Ask yourself honestly, did all those explanations actually change anything, or did they simply drain your energy? Here's a truth most people discover too late. People don't respect long explanations. They respect clear boundaries. When your decisions are based on values, you don't need paragraphs to defend them. A simple answer is enough. Sometimes even silence is enough. The Stoics understood that every unnecessary explanation gives away emotional power. The less you seek permission, the more confidence you naturally project. Confidence isn't speaking more. Confidence is knowing when you've already said enough. Lesson 7. Control your emotions before you control your words. Imagine someone insults you in public. Your heart starts beating faster. Your mind races. You instantly think of the perfect comeback. In that moment, most people lose, not because of the insult, but because they allow another person's words to control their emotions. This is where Stoicism becomes incredibly practical. The Stoics believed that no one can truly harm your peace unless you hand it to them. Every emotional reaction is a choice. It may not feel like one, but it is. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that people act according to what they know. Some speak from wisdom, others speak from ignorance. If someone insults you, they're revealing their character, not yours. So why carry their anger inside your mind? Imagine carrying a burning piece of coal just because someone threw it at you. Who gets burned first? You do. The same thing happens emotionally. When you react to every opinion, every criticism, every misunderstanding, you become emotionally exhausted. The strongest response isn't always a clever sentence. Sometimes, it's complete emotional control, because nothing frustrates people more than someone who refuses to lose their peace. When your emotions remain calm, your words automatically become stronger, and often, far fewer. Final thought before we end. There is a sentence that can completely change your life. I don't need everyone to understand me. Read that again. Most suffering comes from trying to control something that has never belonged to us. Other people's opinions. You cannot control what they think. You cannot control what they say. You cannot control the stories they create about you. But you can always control one thing: your response. The Stoics never promised an easy life. They promised a peaceful mind. And peace begins the moment you stop chasing validation. The moment you stop proving your worth. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who have already chosen not to understand. Remember, your character speaks every single day. Your habits speak. Your discipline speaks. Your consistency speaks. Your integrity speaks. When your life speaks that loudly, your words become almost unnecessary. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, am I protecting the truth, or am I protecting my ego? That single question can save you years of unnecessary frustration, because the strongest people in the room are rarely the loudest. They're the calmest. They're the most disciplined. They're the ones who know not every opinion deserves a response, and not every misunderstanding deserves an explanation. Sometimes, walking away in silence is the loudest statement you'll ever make. If this video changed the way you think, don't forget to subscribe to The Stoic Edge, because every week, we explore timeless Stoic wisdom that helps you build discipline, emotional strength, and a mind that no opinion can control. Until next time, stay Stoic. Master your mind.